If you were to buy a capital appreciation property, you have to believe in the future news. Hi guys, my name is Dylan and today we're back to another sharing series, and today let's talk about how to buy a good investment property. Alright, so it's a new background, it's a new office, and today let's start first. So before we start to know what we want to buy or how we want to buy, right? We have to know the end goal first. The end goal in buying an investment property, it has to be only two things in my opinion. The first thing will be capital appreciation, meaning to say if you buy a property at 300,000, you want to sell it at 700,000 in the near future. That's called capital appreciation. The second way of investing will be for rental income, meaning to say if you buy a 300,000 property, the rental can cover your monthly installment. So, and it can, down the road, it generates passive income for you. So there are only two end goals for me, right? So for the first way of, in order to achieve or to buy a capital appreciation investment property, my first opinion would be to buy in the early phase of a township. All right, generally when a developer launch a new phase, it will be phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, until phase 6, 7 or whatsoever. So phase 1 normally a township is always in a very new area, a big piece of land. They're trying to create a new residential area that has commercial elements, that has maybe office elements, maybe educational elements. It's like a self-sustainable township, right? Just imagine Desa Park last time was empty. It was an empty land, and it slowly became, for this 20, 30 years time, it slowly became a very successful township, from landed properties to building commercial elements, education. Then only where the demand is too high, they start to build condo, luxurious condo. And now even like personally, I bought Nura. It's actually a smaller size condo. So it's always landed already, then landed starts becoming very expensive. Then they start doing condo, big size condo. Then becomes expensive again. Then they start doing small size condo. Yeah, so this is like the mindset of buying a township. But there are risks in buying new townships. So we have to bear in mind on that because it's normally in areas that are not so established yet. So the second point to get a capital appreciation is to buy landed properties. So landed properties, let's just assume that in KL, right? The reason why a landed property is so high in terms of pricing, right, is because everyone's end goal is to buy a landed. Right? Doesn't matter you're in PJ, you're in KL, you're in Kepong, or Puchong, whatsoever, right? We always want to buy landed as our retirement home, right? So the mindset is when everyone wants to buy and the land is so scarce, right? Generally the price will go up. But then it really depends on which location, because especially in KL areas, right, the nearer to city center, the properties are actually the land is very limited already. So it's very difficult for developers to build new launch landed. So if you were to find a landed which is newly launched and it's at around market price, definitely grab it because generally it will go up. Yeah. So this is a general rule of thumb, not confirmed, it's just a general one. Right? So the third point will be, if you were to buy a capital appreciation property, you have to believe in the future news. For example, today, if you were to buy a condo example, and the condo beside it, you heard the news saying that there will be an MRT tree there. Okay, so you have to take a bet because capital appreciation is just like buying stocks. You are buying future news that you are unsure about. Okay, so you're just taking a bet. So if you say a MRT tree is going to be there, or you agak-agak know you have insider news that it's going to be beside your condo, then the price will go up, just like in Bangsa South, in Mont Kiara areas. So you have to take a bet. And lastly, if you were to buy a property that you want to aim for capital appreciation, the easiest way is to buy below market value properties. So example, if doesn't matter a condo, a landed or whatsoever, right? If the surrounding area, it's selling for 400 ringgit per square feet example, and your apple to apple comparison, the same condo, it's selling for 300 ringgit per square feet, then definitely this, you have the gap already. 300 ringgit per square feet, 400 ringgit per square feet, there will be this capital appreciation gap. So this is how the easiest way to aim for capital appreciation in buying condos or landed. Or the best way is in that particular condo, project A, project B, if you manage to find an owner who is urgent, urgently need to sell, maybe you can tekan the price, or you can go for bulk purchases or whatsoever. So this is the way of buying capital appreciation properties. So if we talk about capital appreciation, so now let's talk about rental income. So for rental income, right, it's basically how I invest in my property portfolio. Okay, so the first way that I kind of summarize out, right, I've written down is to focus on locations that you are familiar with only. Okay, example, if let's say I'm staying in Bukit Jalil, then I will only buy around Bukit Jalil first because only I know clearly that this road links to which part of maybe easier to go KLCC. This road you have some schools here, you have some offices here. You know that it's lesser jam. So lesser jam means it's smoother traffic congestion and people will want to move over here. So you yourself know that particular location, and of course focus on locations that you're familiar with, but at the same time, it has to be a high demand for it. So high demand meaning to say there are a lot of job opportunities, everyone is a new address and have new hype shopping mall here, and you have existing infrastructures here, future infrastructures here. So it's like these are all the demands. So focus in a location that you know first, or if you want to buy the location that it's out of your familiarity, you have to do a lot of study first. Try to do a own stay test where you go and stay there. For Airbnb, just try out the area first, or go there during morning time, night time, afternoon time to understand the location well first. So the second way is to check the project or the sub-sales per square feet surrounding it. So whether it makes sense or not. If let's say the project that I'm buying today, it's around 700 ringgit per square feet, and the surrounding is selling for around 650 to 750 to 800. Apple to apple comparison are almost the same size. Okay, let's assume almost the same size. Then I know, okay, today the price I'm buying is market price or even below market price. So today you're in a safe margin. You're not at the top, you're not at the bottom, you're in the middle. So of course, if you were to compare in that area, you compare in the same address only lah. For example, if you are investing in Bukit Jalil, you want to know in Bukit Jalil, you don't go and compare Puchong, you don't go and compare Sungai Besi. It's totally different area. So what I would always do is that same address, 500 meter radius is the most immediate one. Then you extend it to 2 km radius to roughly know the price per square feet. So by only doing that, you'll know that whether you're buying at the right price or not. Like for example, if you buy a project in Bukit Jalil, it's 700,000. You think that, wow, it's very cheap But then actually the surroundings only selling for 500,000. So is it cheap or not? It really depends. Yeah. So the third point for rental income projects, right, will be to buy near a public transport as an added value point. The reason why people want to rent in that particular area, first is because it's convenient to travel to work. Maybe for Airbnb, it's easier to go to tourist hotspots, or maybe it's just nearer to CBD areas. So with MRT station, LRT station, maybe even KTM station, it's convenient for you to travel to these locations. So by rental properties that are near these locations, right, it's easier because people don't have to drive. Then people also say only makes sense ma. For example, if I'm staying in Seremban, I just rent a place maybe in say Bukit Jalil. Okay, so I just rent there. Then I can take commute to work every day. Yeah, so this is like the guideline, the rule of thumb. Okay, the fourth point, which is the most important point, will be to check your current installment versus the expected rental. Okay, why I'm saying this is because just imagine, right, today if I'm eligible for 35-year loan, maybe Ali is only entitled for 25-year loan. The installment for a 500k property, right, for me is 2002, and for Ali, it's maybe around 2007 or 2008. So your installment price is already different already. So what I'm trying to say is I have a head start, and Ali, unfortunately, because of his age, he can only entitle for 25 years. So you have to check if the surrounding rental it's 2003, 2005, 2001, then my installment is 2002, I think it's a good buy. But for Ali's perspective, if the surrounding rental is 2002, 2003, and his installment is 2007 or 2008, which means that I think it's still okay, but not the best choice, right? So we have to really we have to really calculate our installment price first. How much is it for that particular property? Then you compare with the rental surrounding and see whether it makes sense or not. And the rule of thumb, the worst case scenario for me, let's say the monthly installment is 3,000 ringgit, right? And the rental is around 80% of your monthly installment, which is around 2,004. I find that it's okay. This is the bare minimum for me lah. Then of course, if you can cover, good. If you can cover maintenance fee, even better, right? So these are the few points that I try to list out when I personally buy a property. So the best case scenario for me is, like personally when I invest in a property, right, I aim for properties that focuses on income first. So at that current stage, this current stage for now, I can already cover installment. My aim is to cover installment. Okay, I can cover installment, but at the same time, there are future capital appreciation bonuses. For example, if beside the condo that I'm buying, there is an empty land and already say propose for MRT3 station. So I'm not betting on it because at the same time, I already know that my rental can cover already. But if this MRT3 is really built right beside me, right, wow, what say I tell you, you can expect a capital appreciation. And for example, or if not, currently you have an MRT project, and maybe the MRT project links you to a new, maybe say Bandar Malaysia or Tower M. So if it links you to that area, which is a potential new hype area or PME 118, so it's like, okay, currently I'm renting, it's okay already, the rental is good, but if 2 stations then I can reach this new destination, right, wow, it's definitely a booster to your property. So this is always how I focus on property investment. Rental first, capital appreciation is a bonus for me. Okay, so I think that's all for my sharing regarding this, how to buy a good investment property. There is no right or no wrong, but personally, I just like to focus on rental income, and capital appreciation is a bonus for me. Okay, so that's all for this episode today. And if you'd like to know more about property, do like, share, and subscribe. And if you have any questions that you want to ask or discuss, do comment below or email to my email. Okay, thank you so much, and I'll see you. My name is Dylan. Bye-bye.